All right. Oh, enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of that crazy noise. Yes, good evening. My name is Bill. You are watching Bill's Box of Sound. Good to see all of you. All right, I see the people are coming in. We're having some good times. We're going to talk about some great people tonight. I mean, this is the week when people just started dropping like flies. But I've got good things to say and good things to do. Let's see, we've got the one, the only, Mr. Vaultmeister in the house, Joe Travers. Wonderful drummer, wonderful guy, wonderful friend. And I'm happy to have him in the house tonight. Well, not in the house, but in the chat room. And we've also got good old metal theologian down there in South Carolina. Yeah, I know you were in town, but you were having your own kind of fun, and that's cool. It's good to see that you were up here. And we got Paul Ayers in there live, and in color. Yes, Nate Bouchard, hello, how are you? North Carolina vinyl picker, what's up? And we're going to have more people. I know that. At least 9 of you already. Anyway, so before I get down in the memorial tributes, I want to talk about a new release that was announced this week. So, Acoustic Sounds, they made this big frickin' announcement. And they got this video where they've got Teddy. Now, if you are old school in the vinyl community, I mean real old school. I mean, we're talking like back to 2005 or something like that. There was a dude named Teddy who made these fantastic videos. Played a lot of jazz from all sorts of different genres, and showed the records. I forget what his original channel was called, but this is in the early days when people like Derek Vaughan and Echo Voice were first starting up. We also had let's see, well, Lazarus, who is now back as part of the vinyl community, and who was that dude from Canada that I really enjoyed? Oh yeah, guess I'm just a spud boy, Otavio from Canada. I loved his videos. But anyway, Teddy was one of the guys who made some really good vinyl community videos. And, you know, back then there weren't that many people in the mid-2000s. And for some strange reason, politics kind of got in the way. People were calling each other names and stupid shit like that. And all of a sudden, Teddy made the announcement that he was leaving the vinyl community, and he stopped making videos, and he deleted every single video from his channel. He deleted his channel even. All that great content was gone. Before you know it, he's up on it's either Vivo or Vimeo, one of those competing websites that wanted to be like YouTube. And he's back on there, and he's making videos about things and hoping to start something brand new, to be a trailblazer and stuff like that. And he's making good stuff. And then he came back to YouTube after a while, and he started up a channel which is still active. You can see his stuff on YouTube. It's called Eat, Sleep, Vinyl. Great content, great records. Teddy's just a fun guy who's got lots of great information about mostly jazz music, but also some country and western, some folk, bluegrass, stuff like that, and every once in a while a rock record. So he stopped making Eat Sleep videos for a while, Eat Sleep Vinyl videos for a while, and oh, really? Ottavio sent you VCLT once. All awesome, awesome. Good old Ottavio. I loved Spud Boy. He was great. Anyway, so then after the Eat Sleep Vinyl videos slowed down a bit, for about a year or so, Teddy made videos for Acoustic Sounds, plugging some of their new releases. And he's been gone for a couple of years. And all of a sudden this week, boom, Acoustic Sounds. Here's Teddy with a brand new pair of glasses, and he's hawking this new thing called Miles Davis. Oops, wait a second. Miles Davis, Birth of the Blue. He's doing this thing about when is a reissue not a reissue, but it's a brand new record. What? Yeah, when is a reissue not a reissue, but a brand new record? And he's talking about these 4 fantastic tunes that were recorded just about a few months before Kind of Blue with the same ensemble. We're talking about Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Cannonball Adderley, Bill Evans, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb on drums. Great stuff, And these recently discovered original 3-track tapes have been transferred, brand new mixes made, and mastered at Doug Sachs Mastering. Master Disc, or whatever it's called, which is now at Acoustic Sounds. And they're putting out this brand new record, and it's called Birth of the Blue. Okay? It's a short album. There's only 4 songs on it. 2 on side 1, 2 on side 2. And they're kind of treating it like a new release, but it's not a new release. All this information has been available before, okay? There's 4 songs that we're talking about. We're talking about Green Dolphin Street, Stella by Starlight, Love for Sale, and Fran Dance, Miles Davis composition. So, grabbing a little bit of Diet Coke. Sup, Thumbfinger, good to see ya. So, these 4 songs, which are being touted as kind of a new release, were originally available in France on an album called Jazz Track. Actually, 3 of the 4 songs were on this. This was a French release Side one had Miles Davis's soundtrack to Elevator to the Scaffold soundtrack. And then on the flip side of this album, it had On Green Dolphin Street, Stella by Starlight, and Fran Dance. But back then, the name of the track was Put Your Little Foot Right Out. So this has been available since 1959, 1958. And then in Japan, in 1979, they put out this thing called 1958 Miles. And this has all four of the songs that are going to be on this Birth of the Blue thing. On Green Dolphin Street, Fran Dance, Stella by Starlight, and Love for Sale. Plus there's 2 extra tunes on this album. But these are kind of glorified mono. They don't sound bad at all. But the thing that is making this new Birth of the Blue thing kind of exciting is the fact that they got the original 3-track tapes and made a brand new analog stereo mix of it. And it's going to be reissued, 1,000 copies on blue vinyl, 1,000 copies on black vinyl. They may have more on black vinyl after the numbered version is gone. They're also making it a super audio CD. So that is exciting from the fact that these songs are probably going to sound better than they ever were before. So, you know, if you've got one of these 2 records, either Jazz Track or 1958 Miles, you can hear these recordings. And there's a good chance that this stuff's available on Spotify as well. I haven't checked, but it's good stuff. And that's what I have to say about that particular release. Okay. So now that we're deep in jazz territory, we have to talk about, quick detour. There's no new Zappa news this week. The only Zappa news that I can think of is that yesterday was the anniversary of this record, Jazz from Hell. It's been 38 years. 38 years, 1986 to 2024. So maybe in 2 years we'll see a 40th anniversary of this. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. And I'm not pressuring you, Joe. But yeah, it's good music. I can't wait to hear this. I have pre-ordered the blue vinyl copy. So this week we had not 1 but 4 memorials to do. First one was on November the 9th. We found out about the passing away of Lou Donaldson at 98 years old. Saxophone player. This is Lou Donaldson Sextet Volume 2 from, I believe this was recorded in 1954. This is a 12-inch Japanese reissue of a 10-inch record that came out on Blue Note. And Lou Donaldson's played with a lot of people, including Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Night at Birdland. This is a Smokin' album, which also has Clifford Brown, Horace Silver, Curly Russell, and of course Art Blakey on drums. And Lou Donaldson's on that. And Lou was also a very hip sideman, mostly on a lot of Jimmy Smith records. Home Cookin', that's Lou Donaldson on sax. We got Rockin' the Boat with Lou Donaldson. For a while, it was like either Lou Donaldson or Stanley Turrentine on Jimmy Smith's records. It was kind of cool. Oh, this is a fun album. Jimmy Smith's House Party. I love this album. And the next one I'm going to show you is really cool as well. But yeah, Lou's on this one, along with the George Coleman on alto sax. That's a pretty cool one. Jimmy Smith's House Party. And this one, oh, I love. This is a French reissue, direct to metal mastered back in the 95, or I'm sorry, 84. The Sermon. And side one is a 20-some minute track of them blowing it. And I think it's pretty much the same sessions that wound up with House Party happening. Once again, Lou Donaldson and George Coleman on alto sax, Tina Brooks on tenor sax. We've got Kenny Dorham, Eddie McFadden, Art Blakey, and Donald Bailey on drums. Great album. Great album. But let's show a few of his solo albums, shall we? Blues Walk. This is a classic that originally came out in 1958. This is a double 45 version I got. This is also available, I believe, at popular prices on the Blue Note Classics series. Blues Walk by Lou Donaldson. And in later years, he got to be known for the guy who did Happy Jazz. I got a CD. I forget which one it is. It's got a red cover. Good Gravy or something like that. But here's an album that was recorded back in the 60s and didn't get re-released until the 80s, called Lush Life. This is kind of like almost easy listening for Lou Donaldson. Still not bad, though. Still had some good blowing on it. And for a lot of his albums in his career, he had girls on the cover. Gravy Train, that's the one. Gravy Train, that's a pretty cool album. That's fun. And you can play that to just about anybody, and they'll tap their toe to it. Thank you very much, Metal Theologian. And then there was some albums that critics did not like that much. For example, this early 70s Say It Loud, where he does his version of the James Brown track, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. That track is but on the same side, he does some standards. He does Summertime, the Gershwin tune, and of course, Duke Ellington's Caravan. So this has highs and lows, this particular one. But for a lot of people, his happy, moving you along jazz, the peak was these two albums. Alligator Boogaloo, which I forget what year that came out. This is an original, so it doesn't say what year it came out. But this is great stuff. And the other one is Mr. Shingling. Yeah. This one's got, let's see, where's the list of folks on this? We got Blue Mitchell on trumpet, Lou Donaldson, Jimmy Fats Ponder, Lonnie Smith on organ, and Leo Morris. So, yeah, sad that he has passed away. There's lots of other albums that Lou has played on. He would give interviews. I mean, he passed away at the age of 98, and as recently as like about 3 or 4 years ago, he had been giving interviews on podcasts. It was very, very cool. So, you know, you're trying to get inside of my brain, Paul. Look at this. I need a vinyl copy of Mishwandi by Herbie. Yeah, I need it too. As a matter of fact, I was in a store today. I was looking for that. They didn't have it. But that's one I want to get. So anyway, but yeah, he was making albums deep into the 80s. And it's very sad that he passed away. But 98, what a life, man. All right. Next, I'm gonna hold off on a photo because I'm gonna do his session work first. We had yet another classic jazz master pass away, and that is drummer Roy Haynes, born in 1925, died on November 12th at the age of 99 years old. Man, must have lived a good life. Well, he played with just about everybody. I mean, he played with Charlie Parker. He played with Miles Davis. On The Amazing Bud Powell, Max Roach is on this album as well, but Roy Haynes plays on a lot of these tracks. One album that I've been spinning a lot this week since I found out that Roy passed away is Thelonious in Action with Thelonious Monk, Johnny Griffin. This is a hot live album. I love this. As a matter of fact, there's no record in here because it's on one of my turntables. Also played with Oliver Nelson, King Curtis, and Jimmy Forrest from Soul Battle on Prestige. He also did some experimental way out stuff. Not completely way out, not Sun Ra type way out. But check this out. Eric Dolphy out there. I've got another Eric Dolphy album that he played on, but this is a really good one. I think this is actually doesn't say what year this is recorded. Let me see if I've got it inside here. This is on the New Jazz imprint. Oh, we are getting some cool testimonials in the chat room. Thank you, folks. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. I don't know, but this is on kind of like a smoky red vinyl, or almost brown vinyl. This Out There by Eric Dolphy. And Roy Haynes is the drummer on this. I mean, this album is just Eric Dolphy, alto sax, flute, B-flat and bass clarinet, Ron Carter on cello, George Duvivier on bass, and Roy Haynes on drums. This is pretty damn cool. Oh, another album that was testing the limits of jazz with Roy Haynes on drums is Jackie McLean's Destination Out. This is a good one as well. Highly recommended. He did a few albums with Andrew Hill, such as Black Fire. Check that on out. See, Joe Henderson on tenor sax, Andrew Hill piano, Richard Davis bass, Roy Haynes drums. Very nice. And you can't talk about Roy Haynes without talking about this album that he did with Chick Corea. Now he sings, now he sobs. This was the first in the Tone Poet series. I don't know if they've re-released it as a classic or not, but this is absolutely essential. With Miroslav Vitwis on bass. And speaking of that trio of Chick, Roy, and Miroslav, yeah, on ECM, trio music live in Europe. Great stuff. And let's see. Oh, this is wonderful stuff. You saw him with Dave Holland and Pat Metheny. Oh, lovely. And Time Monitor, thank you for joining the cast. Saw Roy when he was 80 and he had tons of energy. Yeah, I believe it. I do believe it. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Very cool. And that's it. Wait a second. No. I never said anything about Aliens Ate My Buick. Mr. Day Hiker, you're having fun. But anyway, so this week, when I heard about Roy passing away, I pulled out two albums that I haven't listened to since I got them. And I got these in the mid to late 70s, back when I was just starting to get into jazz. And I got these as promos, and these really didn't excite me back then, but when I listened to them this past week, very, very, very excited about this. I believe that, let's see, which one came first? This one came first. This is Roy Haynes' solo album, Thank you, thank you. And this is kind of it's almost a fusion album in the instrumentation, but Roy keeps it very much almost in a hard bop, shuffle type groove. He's got John Clemmer on tenor sax, George Cables on electric piano, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Stanley Cowell on electric piano, Kenneth Nash on percussion, and a couple of other guys. This came out in 1977. Thank you, thank you. And as good as this album is, this next one almost borders on progressive fusion with hard bop. We're talking about Vista Light by Roy Haynes from 1979. This is a good record as well. I don't know how hard it is to find. I was looking on the Discogs, and they're not expensive to pick up if you're really that interested. But if you're a drummer and you want to get into the history, Roy Haynes is one of them guys. Oh yes, here's to you, gentlemen. To Lou and to Roy. Now, we've got another memorial here. Now, we're talking about a producer. No, nobody in the Kinks died, okay? Chill. All right. The guy who produced the Kinks and also produced The Who, their first album, My Generation, Shel Talmy. Now, Sheldon Talmy was an American gent, but he's mostly known for producing these British bands. And I'm reading the book Soundman by Glyn Johns, and he talks about Shel Talmy in here. And, this is back early when the Rolling Stones were just starting to get off the ground. And he says that I had been really fortunate to acquire some really successful clients in the previous couple of years at IBC, which was the studio he was working at. And the foremost of these being Shel Talmy. He had arrived in London and convinced the powers that be in the English record business that he was an established producer from Los Angeles. How accurate this was, I never found out. I think he may have had a somewhat menial job at Capitol Studios in L.A. The fact is he had a string of hits straight out of the bag, so he was doing something right. I was sitting at home one morning wondering what would become of me when the phone rang, and it was Shel. He said that he was having trouble finding anyone to replace me as an engineer and asked if I would consider going back to work at IBC. I told him I wouldn't under any circumstances, so then he suggested that he would pay me an hourly rate as a freelance engineer. I should point out that there was no such thing in the industry at that time, and the immediate question was whether the studios would even consider allowing an outsider to come in and use their facilities, putting out the noses of their employees. I rang George Clouston and put the idea to him, and he promised to persuade me to take my old job back. Without success. It seemed that business at IBC had subsided since I had left, so it didn't take much to convince him that I would return as a freelance, with the studio paying me by the hour for the clients that I brought in. So it is thanks to Shel that I returned to the fold and continued my career as an engineer, being paid both by the client and the studio, and becoming the first freelance engineer in the business. I would most certainly never have come up with this concept myself, and it was only Shel pointing out the opportunity and facilitating it that made it happen. So, rest in peace, Shel Talmy, producer for the Kinks and the Who and many other bands as well. Now, last but not least in this this memorial business we're doing, I want to talk about the guy who made all the words on this album happen. Oh, yes. In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson. The member of the band that you didn't hear on the album was the lyricist Pete Sinfield, who passed away 2 days ago at the age of 80 on November 14th, 2024. And he wrote all the words for the first few King Crimson albums. He was also a musician. He played guitar and keyboards. He did put out one solo album called Still that really didn't go anywhere. But for the most part, Pete Sinfield was a lyricist. He also provided the lyrics for this great album, McDonald and Giles, sorry. And he also produced some lyrics for several Emerson, Lake and Palmer albums. So he's the genius that put together a lot of the lyrics on Brain Salad Surgery. And it's sad to see him go. He also did some lyrics for the Italian prog band PFM. But as much as we are mourning the death of Peter Sinfield, there's one thing I will never forgive him for. He wrote all the lyrics on the Emerson, Lake and Palmer album Love Beach, which is arguably one of the worst albums in prog to ever see the light of day. I'm sorry, just Love Beach. You know, I listened to Stephen Wilson and Tim Boness's Album Years podcast, and they kind of made a case for Love Beach being something that might be good. So I saw it in a dollar bin someplace and picked it up. Took a listen to it. Thought I was gonna die. Ugh, it was terrible. So, besides all that, it's sad that Pete Sinfield's gone. I heard that he was a very, very nice gent. So friends of mine, one friend of mine who lives in England knew him personally. Talked about him a bit. But let's see. Oh, this is a good question. Is Love Beach worse than having fun with Elvis on stage? I don't know. I got both. I was actually able to get through Love Beach at one sitting. Having fun with Elvis on stage, I'm not too sure if I've listened to the entire thing. Yeah. Let's see. Love Beach has a good song. Officer and a Gentleman. Okay. If you like it, that's cool. Personally, not me. And Michael P. Dawson, our good friend, says Sinfield Still is a great album. No great vocals, but some wonderful material. The Night People could be a lost King Crimson epic. And if I ever see that album, I'll probably grab it. And let's see. He's in the credits for Ladies of the Road on Islands. Okay, well that's still another King Crimson album. Very good, Joe. Having fun with Elvis is great. For those who do not know, aside from our wonderful people in the chat room, let me find it here. I know I got it here because the letter P is right here along with my Primus stuff. So let's see, where's my Elvis Presley stuff? Let's see. Okay. Having fun with Elvis on stage. Okay. This is an album of nothing but, pardon me, Elvis Presley live, but not singing, just talking in between songs. And like I said, it's a talking album only. And read the Wikipedia entry about this album. It's kind of funny how Colonel Tom Parker hijacked this album so he could make plenty of money out of it for himself. But it's such a novelty, I had to have it because I'm not a huge Elvis fan. I mean, I like some Elvis. I like some Elvis, but yeah. Elvis did make it himself. You are correct, Joe. So read the Wikipedia article about it. If you don't know about that album, you will probably crack up. Let's see. And yes, you've listened to Metal Machine music all the way through. Good job. And Michael also gives his thumbs up to Love Beach. It's more than half good. Canario and all of side two are decent, but the first 5 songs are wretched. Okay, so it all depends on your opinion. You like the music that you like. You don't like the music that you don't like. It's a good deal. That's why we all have our own. Everybody, I think it was Metal Theologian who said this. I've got the best record collection in the world because it was curated by me for my tastes, and you have the best record collection in the world because you have curated your tastes, your wants, your desires, your rock outness to get the records that you want to listen to. So, yes. Yes, Metal Machine music. Oh, we are having some fun here. One last thing. Hold on a second. I gotta bring this up here. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's see here. Let's see. One last jazz thing that I want to bring up. It's this thing that is called the Tone Poet Society. Yes, indeed. So let's take a look at that here. This is the Tone Poet Society from Blue Note Records. Now, if you're a collector of jazz records, you know about these Tone Poets. They're records that go for about $40 a piece, and they are fantastic. And now, if you are a U.S. customer, you can join the Tone Poet Society and subscribe and build your Tone Poet collection. There's 4 different tiers, okay? You get free shipping, flexible subscriptions. If you join the first tier, you'll get, you pay $30.98 per title. And this is the top of the line subscription. You join for a whole year, and you will get all 24 Tone Poet titles, plus other merchandise and tchotchkes or whatever. You will have the opportunity to purchase Tone Poet exclusives. But if you do that, you'll have to pay extra for them. But you pay $743.52, and you will get 24 Tone Poet records. You move down to the 6-month subscription, and you get, for $395, you'll get 12 titles in total, and still all of the stuff that you can do with the Tone Poet Society subscription. And going down, you've got the tier 3, where you join for 3 months and you get 6 totals. It's $200. And as you keep on going down, each individual costs a little bit more. They have free shipping for all of them, but still, you have to consider. Now, if you are really that much into the Tone Poet series, it's a good deal if you are a collector. I know that there are people that are all in on the Tone Poets. When they first came out on them, I started buying all of them as well. But then they started getting into more esoteric stuff, and now when they announce a Tone Poet, I go and listen to it online, and I pick and choose what I want, because I've already got too many records as it is. But that's just something else for you to consider. So that's it. Yeah, and there are other people that are passing on a Tone Poet Society as well. But it's nice that they're offering it, a nice subscription, because there used to be a series. It was on Music Matters. You could subscribe to the Music Matters records, and they would come out with their special things. These were like the equivalent of the Tone Poets back in the day, where they have these great sleeves that are a little bit bigger than normal sleeves. They're all gatefold with pictures from the sessions, with very few exceptions. And of course, Kevin Gray cut fantastic 180-gram Whisper super quiet vinyl. And you could get those. But that has devolved into the Tone Poet series. And that's what that is. Okay, where are we now? Where are we going? Where are we going? New records. Okay, we're almost done with the Dead People. Almost done with the Dead People. Oh, wait a second. What's going on here? Let's see. MT says, I think that Tone Poet grift is bullshit. I'd rather the records be cheap and widely available. And what's nice is that they are reissuing some of those better albums on classic Blue Note issues, which are 140 gram, still sound really, really good. So I hear you. I understand your sentiment. But I've got some new records. Let's laugh along with a person who is dead. I just got this in the mail today. Gilbert Gottfried, Still Screaming. This was just released. This is the posthumous release. It's available on the net only. It's on a site called Clown Jewels. And you might want to search for that here. Clown Jewels, curated classic comedy. And what this is, it's a 2-record set taken from gigs that Gilbert did between 2015 and 2016. And it was recorded mostly by the guy who did the documentary Gilbert, about Gilbert Gottfried. And personally, I'm a huge Gilbert Gottfried fan. The only other comedy album he put out was an album called Dirty Jokes, which was also a DVD. And inside of the album, well, actually, it's a 3-sided album. On the 4th side is etched artwork that was drawn by Gilbert. If you've read his book, Rubber Balls and Liquor, you will recognize this artwork. It's all done by Gilbert Gottfried. It's crazy etching on there. So I just got this today. Haven't had a chance to listen to it. But man, I miss Gilbert Gottfried. He passed away in 2022. And the liner notes on the back are written by Penn Jillette, one of his best friends. I'll have to listen to this with headphones because my wife can't stand Gilbert Gottfried. Also, keeping in with comedy and with people who are very much alive. Remember the TV show Mystery Science Theater 3000? Which has now kind of devolved into riff tracks, where you can buy the riffs of people making fun of bad movies. Well, they've put out an album. Now, wait a second, you say. Isn't that Cheap Thrills by Big Brother and the Holding Company? No, it's not. This is Cheap Tunes, music from Riff Tracks Live, with the cover art being a very accurate parody of the Cheap Thrills album cover. These are all songs that were written and performed by the Riff Tracks crew: Kevin Murphy, uh, Bill Corbett, Mike Nelson, at the Riff Tracks live events, which were streamed to theaters and also are available on DVDs. And even if you're not familiar with the riffs and the movies involved, this is kind of a funny record, very musical. The thing I'm unhappy about, though, is that it says that this is a stereo album. And there's like, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 tracks. Only like 3 or 4 of them are in stereo. The rest are in mono. Not happy about that. Little Diet Coke for the cause. Metal Theologian, I'm right here along with you. I watched Mystery Science Theater 3000 back when it was called The Ghoul. And before that, it was Ghoulardi. I believe he had also put in the drop-ins with movies and stuff like that. And what else? I went to a record store today. Joe Travers, if you are still in the chat room, remember the second record store we went to, which was called Vinyl Groove in Bedford? Well, that store has closed and moved to a larger location on the west side of Cleveland. It's in the same building that used to have Peaches Records back in the 70s and 80s. And it's now called, it's still the Vinyl Groove, but today they reopened. And I'm going to go there for Record Store Day. Much larger place, room for lots more records. Very, very cool. I'm going to show you what I picked up there today. I got one used record. And just to show you what a nerd I am, Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66, their debut album on A&M Records, produced by Herb Alpert, but recorded by Bruce Botnick, who recorded a lot of the Doors albums. Yeah, crazy, huh? This is an extremely well-recorded album, and there's some great stuff on here. Yeah, it is a fantastic album. So, I've been looking for that ever since Sergio passed away, because I do have one album that he did on Atlantic Records before he formed Brazil 66, which is pretty good. Okay, next album that I got it's not an original pressing, but this will do because it is The Cramps, A Date with Elvis. I really need to beef up my Cramps collection. Now, I do see Vinyl Richie in the chat room. Hello there. And Vinyl Richie has the dopest Cramps collection. Dare I say it's fantastic. Yes, indeed. But you see, the original of this had the gold leaf for the title, My Date with Elvis. But this is a great album. It's got Can Your Pussy Do the Dog? It's got What's Inside a Girl? Great album. And very happy to have this finally on vinyl. Yeah. Oh, and Vinyl Richie, he got a copy of my record. Oh my God. Vinyl Richie, along with Metal Theologian and Joe Travers, and several of you other wonderful people in the chat room, have a copy of Meh by Spudlock. It's available on Bandcamp if you want it, and it's available as an almost free download if you want it. So check it out. It's weird shit. But I'm really interested to hear what you think of my record, Vinyl Richie, whether it be positive or negative, and I'm honest about that. I know a lot of times people will get a record from somebody in the vinyl community and they'll listen to it, and if they like it, they'll talk a lot about it. But if they don't like it, they won't talk a lot about it. But I've been waiting for bad reviews of the Spudlock record. And when they come, I'll be happy to hear them. But if you like it, that's cool too. So very happy, very, very happy. Yes, and Mr. Time Monitor as well does have a copy of Meh as well. Man, just very, very happy. Very, very happy to hear all this. Anyway, the third record I got today, sealed, very happy to get this, is Big Black Atomizer. I didn't have this one, so I picked this up today. Haven't even broken the seal on it yet, but I'm going to probably listen to it tomorrow. And this is a reissue made with 100% recyclable material, which is PVC and phthalates free, and uses 79% less CO2 to produce. Very interesting. Also remastered by Steve Albini and Bob West at Chicago Mastering. Includes a download coupon. Very cool. Love Big Black. And also found out from the owner of Vinyl Groove that the Shellac album, which is really good, by the way, the last Shellac album, which came out just after Steve Albini passed away, that is finally going to be repressed and coming out on vinyl soon. I ordered that album on Amazon. They sent me the download of it because the album was delayed, and I waited and waited and waited, and they eventually said, we're not going to be able to get you the album, so we're canceling the order. So I got the download for free, but I still want the record. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. What else have I gotten? Let's see. Goodwill finds. I got these records at Goodwill this week. Just that I can. Let's see. We got Billy Cobham, Total Eclipse, which is an upgrade because the copy I have was from a garage sale and the cover was trashed. We've got Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood. I've heard a lot of good things about this album, so I thought I'd pick it up. It's less than $2, so I'm going to check it out. It's in great condition. Got another Billy Cobham album, Warning. Now, this was his first digital recording on the GRP label, and this is a promo test press. Very interesting. And last and least, got a copy of David Sanborn As We Speak. The late great saxophone player. This was produced by Robert Margoliff, who also co-produced Freedom of Choice for Devo. Pardon me. I do see DJ Trish in the room, and good to see you. Do you have any Christmas DJ gigs planned? I have one Christmas DJ gig. And it's probably all I'm going to do this year. How do I afford all of these great LPs? I'm good at finding a bargain. What can I say? So, that's what's going on. Wow, we are 54 minutes into the show. Whew. What else is going on here? News from Thumbfinger. He say, my pre-order of Axiom Funkomicron got canceled. I'm not too happy about that. Yeah. You know, you order these records and you're expecting them to come. But for I Am One of Us, I wanted to say that I've been collecting records since I was 5 years old. It's a lifelong pursuit, and I love it. But you know what? There's lots of other people who have a lot more records than I do. And what do you say? So, that is what's going on. Oh, hello, Vinyl Piper. Good to see you. What's up? New subscriber. Good evening. Good to see you. Currently, I am working on the next episode of the Zappacast. Let's see. Not going to say much of what it's about, but it's going to be a fun one. And still in the assembly stage of that because it was recorded in a very unorthodox way. So you'll hear it when it comes out. And of course, more Zappacasts as time marches on. What else am I doing? Speaking of Zappa, I am working on my review of the Apostrophe 50th Anniversary Mega Box Set. I mean, I've got notes on it. I just have to sit down and turn on a camera and talk about it. But I promise you, it will be out there on your little screens soon. So that's it. So, what else? Don't have much else to talk about. It's 2 weeks into daylight savings time, and I'm still not used to it getting dark before 5 p.m. What can I say? So, I'm going to turn on some more weird music. I'm going to continue the track that we were listening to at the beginning of this. And, what else? Let me just play this in the background for a moment here. I do want to say that I really do appreciate everybody stopping on by. This is very cool to have you here on a Saturday night. I'll be here next Saturday night. I almost definitely will. Ooh, quick question. Am I a Klaus Schulze fan? Let's see. Show it up on screen. Got his newest album yesterday. I thought Klaus Schulze passed away. Huh. Interesting. I only have like one or two Klaus Schulze albums. I know I got Body Love, and I got one other. I would really love to get more into Klaus Schulze. I know he was an original member of Tangerine Dream. And hello there, Janice. Good to see you. Appreciate every single one of you folks. And so stay tuned for your local news, except for those on the West Coast. And hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not already. And I'm just happy to be able to impart all of this information to you because it's fun. We have a lot of fun here. So, yeah, that's it. Thanks to everybody. Joe, Aaron, Richie, everybody. Mowgli, Vinyl Piper. Let's see. I Am One of Us. Thumpfinger, DJ Trish. Time Monitor. If Paul's in there, I say hello to you as well. And Michael P. Dawson and Mowgli, Day Hiker, and all of you wonderful, wonderful, wonderful folks. That's it. I am out of here until next week. Had a great time. Hope you did too. Let's turn that weird music back up. All right, that's enough. Good night.